So the Broncos were on the road playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And then our broadcast position was really good at Arrowhead, and we worked with the windows open always. I learned that from him as well. It didn't matter what the weather conditions were. You know what? If it was cold, wear a coat. We're working with the windows open. All right. And so we were so close to the crowd that literally you could reach out and you could pat them on the head, them being Chiefs fans. So late in the game, the Broncos, and I think it may have been the first year that there was instant replay. Late in the game, the Broncos had a controversial call. It went to instant replay. And there was a row full of 3 or 4 fellas, right, probably 3 rows down. And they had become really animated in the second half. And they were turning around and telling us a number of things, including we were number 1 to them. And so I just would make eye contact and then go back and call the game. So it was apparent late in the game that they thought we were the instant replay booth. So it's always amazed me when you have headphones on, how somebody thinks it would be a good idea to walk up and have a conversation with you while you have the headphones on. And again, this was a story that Larry remembered in the hospital. So I'm trying to, as we broadcast the 2-minute warning, I'm trying to say the instant replay booth is that way. We're not the instant, but I'm mouthing that because we're on the air. It's this way. The instant replay booth is that way. So I continue to watch our friends, and Larry's continuing to broadcast. And I notice the guy wearing the red baseball cap and red jacket leans down and picks up one of those styrofoam beers about this size. So Larry's broadcasting the game, I'm doing the color. But I'm continuing to kind of look down at our friends. He then whispers something to his friend and turns and takes this mug full of beer and throws it right through the booth between Zim and me, and it hits the back wall and splatters everywhere. When I say Zim is a professional broadcaster, and I learned so many things from him, this is an example. He never missed a beat. He kept right on broadcasting. We both were happy the Broncos were going to win a game at Arrowhead. But oh no, not me. So, I don't know if I'm proud of this or not. I think I'm a little ambivalent about it, frankly. I ripped my headphones off, and I point out the window, and I said, "You stay right there." And I go sprinting out of the booth, through the press box, to the elevator, down the elevator to the concourse. It's a true story. Zim and I laughed about this in the hospital room. And so the game is ended now. And there's 78,000 people, all dressed in red. So I go back to the booth. Zim is in the exact position that I left him. So I put my headphones back on. He's just wrapping up a segment, and we go to a break. So now I'm thinking, should I say something? I don't know what to say. So Zim, I sit to Larry's right. Zim never looks at me, and in that very same iconic voice that was mentioned earlier, he says, "We're in a break." He said, "So, how did that go?" So, I wanted to be accurate, so I said, "I couldn't find him." So Zim, again, not looking at me, looking down at his notes, said, "You couldn't find the guy in the red hat and red jacket." And then he looks at me and says, What a shock.
But Larry was a natural at broadcasting, as is evidenced by his many Hall of Fame honors and 6 amazing decades behind the mic. But even more than his accolades, he was a better person. He was humble, kind, gracious, full of laughter, and a big zest for life. But what really impacted me was the privilege and honor I had spending time with Larry and Bridget the day before he passed away. His time with Larry confirmed something that we all know, what really matters in life. And what matters most is our relationships with each other and with God. His mind was sharp until the very end, as he reminded me of a story when I was there with him. The first thing he said is, "Do you remember when your mother prepared gumbo and you were eating it in the defensive back room with all the defensive backs, and Larry, being a good New Orleans boy and a nose for good Cajun food, knocked on the door as he passed by?" This is in the days where they let reporters and broadcasters into the Broncos facility, and we were all one. And he said, "What are y'all eating?" And I said, "We're having gumbo. Come on in, Larry." And he came in and dined with us. And he remembered that story from 45 years ago. And it just hit me that people, he was family. He was part of our family as Broncos and Bronco players. And he was loved by everybody.